I'm half in and out of the darkness, like half in and out of the light. I'm gonna sing a bit tonight. I'm gonna let the sirens sire. The flight of music, the flight of my ire. I'm trying to make this story be about, an analogy to the great states of unitedness. The states of unitedness that we all live in. Trying to make this song be about an analogy to what's going wrong with our wonderful cunt. With our wonderful cunt. With our wonderful cunt country. And the neighbors are all full of wonderful advice to give me. Or they were, until they fell silent, trying to do the outsider thing in a world of connected electrons and Arab Spring. So I'm trying to tell the story without letting the anger get the best of me, because there's anger and disappointment, but it's such a great analogy that so I came here wearing a security guard outfit. I was doing my graduate work when I got to this neighborhood. We had some history. This house was part of the family. Trying to tell a story about it. Outsider depravity. I guess the first time I was in this backyard, I was with her doing the nasty. But I thought it was private enough. I didn't think anyone could see. Didn't think it was anyone's business what she was doing to me or what I was doing to her. No one needed to care about that. So we had a bunch of rental neighbors next door. Boy, what a parade of loonies. One blew herself up one day. Maybe it was a crack pipe. Maybe it was just a way to say, hey, there's a fire down the road. All that stuff was going on. But she ended up naked on the front lawn, saying the grass was hurting her. Ow, it's hurting her. The grass was hurting her. The crack was blowing in the husband owned an oil company, and he divorced her because she was such a crack lady. Had one of her men come to deliver things to her. Offered some to me. So it's not just rumor. There was the Irish guy who got fired for too many parties outside of the company jurisdiction, or just not showing up for too long. Oh gosh, there were so many. That's hard to remember. There was one couple that broke up because I couldn't stand it, and I did a drum practice at 3 in the morning, and he refused to come over and say anything. He said, "My gosh, I'm from a musical family. Let him pound the drums for a while." And the girlfriend ran out the door and said, "I can't stand a man who doesn't have the gumption to do what I say when I say it." One that has his own mind, half the time. So the rentals got tired and old, and Glenn decided to sell that house. He wanted to sell the block, so to speak. Said if we joined forces, we could get $900,000 for the two, and he'd give us 3 of those. Because he deserved more for setting up the deal, for finding the guy who wanted to buy and create a big housing thing. But she wasn't in the mood to sell, probably never will be, Next thing I know, there's a guy moving in, and I can hear him talking about how, with the movers, I can hear him talking about how he's not paying any rent. Oh, wow, that doesn't sound like Glenn letting someone be there without paying rent. But it turns out he was with the management company, and all of a sudden, all these calls started going into the city, don't you know? Ordinance violations started dropping. You've got a month to do this. You've got to do that. Those plants that she planted when she was still alive, those are weeds. Got to go to court to prove that they're domesticated plants, not some variety of weeds. Some undesirable plant. So I went to court, I proved that it was a Poland plant. The same day I got all the stuff dismissed, there was another sign on the door. Someone had written something else up. And they like to mess with the Suburban. Couldn't quite say that it had to be inspected or insured to be on the property, but it had to be movable. So I proved it was movable, and then within a little while, someone came and towed it away from the city. And I said, "Why did you tow it away?" And they said, "Well, because you didn't prove it was movable." And I said, "You've got to film of it being proved that it was movable." So we lost a Suburban over that. Not to mention the time that it takes to cover up the different cracks and holes that they find, because don't you know you had to do something if there were no deed restrictions. You had to do something if there was no neighborhood watch committee thing. So ordinances were made for nuisance houses, passed under the guise of being abandoned buildings and unsafe. That was a way